Can Argentina upset the Springboks this weekend? That is the big question. The Springboks have 10 changes. Argentina have barely changed their side, just a couple of changes in the forward pack. We obviously know what Argentina are capable of, beating New Zealand in New Zealand and then giving Australia a massive hiding. As always, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. If you haven't, please absolutely mud that subscribe button. Still about 80% of you guys that watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. It helps us grow, helps us get to more rugby lovers. Leave this video a like and let's get into this preview. So what's on the cards here for both of these teams? Well, for the Springboks, it's pretty simple. A win will win them the Rugby Championship, the first time they've won it since 2019. For Argentina, statistically and mathematically, they can still win the Rugby Championship. It's going to take a massive effort on their part to beat the Springboks twice. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But Argentina have never beaten all New Zealand, Australia, and the Springboks in a Rugby Championship. Now they've beaten New Zealand, they've beaten Australia, and now they're going to try and make history by beating the Springboks. As we know, as Springbok supporters, it's always difficult going down to Argentina and trying to play them there. They just sort of, it's like a 10-20% boost that crowd gives them going into these games. We know how physical Argentina can be. So where are the Springboks going to win it? Where are the Springboks going to lose it? Now, I sound like a little bit of a broken record because in every single preview I do, I say that it's always going to be won in the pack of forwards. If we can get scrum dominance, if we can generate penalties off of the scrum and keep Argentina pinned back, then the Springboks are going to have a very good day on their hands. Argentina need to disrupt the breakdown like New Zealand did in that game in Cape Town. They need to really try stick with South Africa in the scrums and then also disrupt our lineout. We saw the Springboks having a couple of lineout woes in those New Zealand tests, and if Argentina can compete in the air and turn over a couple of balls that way, maybe win a couple of penalties, then they're really going to be putting the Springboks under a lot of pressure. We know Argentina, they run on passion. If they start well, it's always going to be difficult for the Springboks to get back in the game. And as we know historically, the Springboks don't typically start very well. If you look at both tests against New Zealand, in that Ellis Park game, we were behind at halftime. We ended up making a massive comeback and coming back. Again, in that second test against New Zealand, we were behind at halftime, and then the bomb squad come on. Now, I do think, again, the bomb squad is going to play a massive role down in Argentina. We saw it against New Zealand, we saw it against Australia, and while we had that insurance policy against Australia where we played the young guns, then had all the experience on the bench, we've kind of mixed and matched it a little bit. We've sprinkled some younger guys into the starting lineup and as well on the bench. Jan-Hendrik Wessels is going to have a massive game because he's actually a prop, but his utility is prop and hooker. They've not started Johan Grobler, who is the Bulls' number one hooker. Jan-Hendrik Wessels doesn't even start for the Bulls in that hooker position because of Johan Grobler. So coming on for Malcolm Marx in that second half, Jan-Hendrik Wessels is going to have a massive game for the Springboks. Normally, Bongi will start. Yes, maybe he doesn't have a great game. Then Malcolm Marx comes on, and we know what Malcolm Marx can do. So I think what Rassie Erasmus and the Springboks are trying to do in this test is to start a little bit better. That's why we have those powerful forwards on. That's why Ox is starting. That's why Thomas du Toit is starting. That's why Malcolm Marx is starting. You look at our loose forwards, Ulrich Loh, Marco van Staden, and Jasper Visser says to me that we're trying to get off to a hot start. There's also a point to be made as to why Manie Libbok is on the bench. Again, I think it's to really lay that platform. And once that platform's laid, then Jaden Hendricks and Manie Libbok can come on and really express themselves in this new Tony Brown system that the Springboks are trying to develop. And speaking about players to watch, I think there's three main guys within the Springboks starting lineup that need to have good games. The one is Thomas du Toit, who, yes, got an opportunity against Australia, but I would have expected him to get a little bit more of an opportunity through these test matches, so I'm glad that he's finally getting it against Argentina. We know how well he played for Bath last season. He's an absolute diesel tractor in the scrum, and paired with Ox and Malcolm Marx, I do think we can expect some penalties. If we don't get scrum dominance, then we have a big problem, because although Vincent Koch and Gerrit Steenkamp are massive oaks to come off the bench, Ox and Thomas du Toit are the scrum guys, right? They need to get us penalties. And then on the side of the scrum, we've got Ben Jason Dixon, who is back in that number 7 jersey, replacing Pieter-Steph du Toit. We know how important Pieter-Steph du Toit is to the Springboks. So although Ben Jason Dixon didn't have a great game against the All Blacks at Ellis Park, he is going to be playing a lot of caps for the Springboks going forward, because like I said, he is a similar mold to Pieter-Steph du Toit. He's going to have to really break open that line. He's going to be have to be dominant in defense, and he's going to have to try and turn over some balls. Pieter-Steph du Toit makes 20 plus tackles a game, so that's what Ben Jason's workload is going to have to be. And he's also sort of might swing and play that utility lock position if Salman Murat and Ruan Nokia both get injured. Obviously, we've got Eben Etzebeth coming off of the bench. And then the last player I want to really highlight is Apelele Fassi. I thought Fassi was absolutely phenomenal against Australia and New Zealand in that first test. I think he was a little bit hard done by not to be playing in that second test against New Zealand. And in my opinion, right now, Apelele Fassi is our best fullback. I know Damian Willems is still injured. When he comes back, we can have another conversation about that. But Apelele Fassi is so good under the high ball. If he can control the ball in the air, those aerial battles, then we're again going to be able to push Argentina back into their territory. He's a live wire. His defense has really improved. So I think Apelele Fassi needs to have a massive game for the Springboks this Saturday. I also think an interesting battle that's going to take place is Pablo Matera and Marco van Staden. Obviously, Marco van Staden has been very impactful in a Springbok jersey, but he did pick up that yellow card. I think he's been waiting for his opportunity, and now is the time. Pablo Matera, we know how good he can be. He is a game changer. He's going to be really putting pressure on the Springbok breakdown. Marco van Staden is going to have to steal a lot of balls away from Argentina. And like I said, scrumming, breakdown, and then keeping them pinned back is how the Springboks are going to win this. Marco van Staden needs to have a massive game in place of Siya Kolisi. And then we've got the bomb squad coming on, right? We have got Kwagga Smith, Ulrich Loh, Eben Etzebeth. So I think what I really want you guys to take out of this video and how I think it's going to go is we really need to set a base platform in that first half. We need to start hot, because if Argentina start hot, then we in some very deep water and going to have to make another comeback in that second half. But I think the game plan is going to be to start hot and then let that bomb squad come on with Vincent Koch, with Eben Etzebeth, Ulrich Loh, Kwagga Smith, and then let Jaden Hendricks and Manuel Bork really express themselves. So I'm quite hesitant about this game. I do have this feeling that we're going to be under a little bit of pressure. I think we might be under a little bit of pressure. It might be tight, or we're going to blow them out of the water. I think it's going to be very tight, or we're going to blow them out of the water. So as for a prediction, and let me know what you guys are predicting for this game. I'm quietly optimistic, but I'm also a little bit scared because of how good Argentina have shown they can be against New Zealand and Australia, and we played away from home with 10 changes. I'm not saying Argentina are going to beat us. I realistically think it's going to be a try or two that we're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout like many people expect. I think it is going to be a lot tighter, and we're really going to have to rely on the bomb squad in that second half to once again come out and potentially bail us out of that first half performance. Like I said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.